from the man living under the bridge to the refugee who just came to Greensboro and is living in a roach-infested apartment. Those are the invisible communities.
You hear a lot of times people say Greensboro takes very good care of people experiencing homelessness, and a lot of people see that as a source of pride. The thing I would like to hear people say about Greensboro is we do a really good job of ending homelessness.
The role of Greensboro Housing Coalition is to provide information and assistance to people who are going through a wide variety of housing issues, from homelessness all the way up to home ownership. With homeless populations, Greensboro Housing Coalition contracts with agencies to provide the inspection so that we make sure that we're moving people into decent, safe places. We also work with the City of Greensboro Code Enforcement Department when they identify a family who's living in a house that they're going to be condemned, to help get them moved. The goal is always to bring the property into compliance so that the people can live there and continue to stay in the place that they're at. Sometimes that breaks down, and we're able to partner with the community foundation and code enforcement to help people get moved into safe, affordable places. And we make sure that it's a safe place before the checks are written for them to move in. This year, when we're talking about putting together the bus tour, we wanted to focus on Greensboro's invisible communities, the people that are struggling that aren't seen. Homeless people, poor people, immigrants, and refugees.
The IRC is the Interactive Resource Center. We are a day center in Greensboro that assists people who are experiencing homelessness or at imminent risk of becoming homeless. And really, we're here to provide everything from showers and laundry to case management and GED classes. We really think of ourselves as a community that works with people to reconnect with their own lives and with the larger Greensboro community. And today we see about 200 guests a day who come through the doors for those services. The Greensboro Housing Coalition has been a critical partner of ours since our inception, and it made sense for us to partner with them for the bus tour because we really believe, as the Housing Coalition does, that issues of people at imminent risk of losing their housing are not that far removed from people experiencing homelessness. It's really one conversation. And so this year we decided that the way to really tell the whole story was kind of from start to finish, and the entire spectrum of places that people could find themselves along the path of homelessness and substandard housing.
We're getting ready to pull off for the 2015 bus tour, and I really appreciate everybody coming out. First, it's 3100 through 3104 Summit Avenue. We're going to 3 apartment buildings. There's 44 units. It's been a problematic apartment complex for Greensboro for decades. It's owned by Arco Realty, and there's about 25% occupancy, mainly folks that came here as refugees, the Montagnard population. They're always getting broken into. There's people living in them who aren't supposed to be living in them. The people that live there peaceably have to deal with the crime, the rats, the pests from the empty units. When you have low occupancy, substandard units, it just attracts a mess. And this is also an example of what we call market rate affordable housing. So 75% of what's quote unquote affordable in a community is this. Private landlords own and rent to private renters. I think that 98% of landlords are good people who generally do the right thing. And then there's 2% who are the bad actors. And this is an example of the 2%. This is a neighbor of this property. Talk a little bit about what his experience is and what the neighborhood association's experiences are.
We want to clean up this apartment complex on this 3100 block before it creates more health and safety problems. We need to work far upstream with housing, transportation, education, parks and recreation, energy, employment, and criminal justice. The city inspectors know much more about these apartments than we do. Greensboro spends a lot of money inspecting these apartments. I understand that our state legislature supports landlords better than tenants. Now would be a good time to support this neighborhood.
Relocating tenants who are displaced because of substandard housing is something that we're very sensitive about and want to make sure that people aren't left out there and don't become the homeless just because now they don't have $1,000 to get into their new place. When something like this happens to a neighborhood, it kills tax values, it kills property values, kills the city revenue, and it makes people want to move. We're not going to deboard the buses at this next stop. It's a apartment complex called Avalon Trace. Most of the residents there, I would say, are refugee immigrants. A lot of cockroach infestation and other pests and mold and moisture issues. When you come here as a refugee, Church World Services or a lot of those organizations can pay your rent for a couple of months. And so the landlords are taking a chance that the person will be able to get sustainable on their own within a couple of months.
Greensboro, North Carolina is a resettlement city. We've been resettling refugees for over 30 years now, and we welcome people from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bhutan, Burma, Iran, Iraq, Syria. There are people from many countries that are coming here. This is where they're supposed to be able to make the most of their future for themselves and for their children. And we appreciate the landlords that will work with us, but at the same time, you sometimes see this tendency to take advantage of these populations.
We have been working with our Healthy Homes team with some of the residents out there, and we've been getting a decent bit of a response from the new owner / management over the last couple of weeks, and that's another reason for staying on the buses, because we don't want to jeopardize what ground we might have made up in doing so.
Here's what our Healthy Homes assessments and our housing quality inspections do. It's about making sure that that unit gets the repairs that's needed so that the next family and the next family can move there, and we can have some assurance that it's going to get what it needs to make sure that that family is ready to live there in a home that's healthy and safe for them. It's about reducing the problem, not allowing it to be the next person's problem.
We try, when we're telling the story of the bus tour, to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And in this case, Mustard Seed Community Health is the good.
This facility that you see now is another transformation of this great Cottage Grove. This will be the Mustard Seed Community Health Center, where the residents and anyone in Greensboro, but particularly it's going to service the residents of this community with affordable health care. It will serve people who have insurance and people who don't have insurance. And the whole premise of this organization or this community is that it will be providing wraparound services. It will provide adult education. It will provide child care. It will provide referral for people who are looking for a home or how to make their home more healthy.
I'm excited about it. We had our grand opening last week, and I'm looking forward to it being open to be a healthy way to get our community to live a good quality life and work with some of the apartments and houses in the area. So I'm glad you were able to ride and see this today.
Homelessness is a situation. It's not a reflection of anybody's character. So it's something that can easily happen to any one of us at any time. From last year's count, it looks like there are over 600 people that are homeless on any given night in Greensboro. And over 100 of them are unsheltered, meaning they're sleeping outside in tent encampments or under overpasses and bridges, and that number is actually a very low estimate.
And I'd like to add that there are 10 encampments all throughout Guilford County. My guess is there's probably one close to you. You just probably aren't aware of it.
When we get back to the IRC, for those that want to stick around for the community conversation, I think it'll be really important.
Really bringing the community conversation, I think, was a crucial piece in this year's bus tour that really engaged the folks that live in other neighborhoods and the decision makers in the community to really be thinking about the systems that can be changed that can produce something better than we have now for the people who are living under the bridge, all the way up to the homeowner who's struggling to stay in their home and struggling to stay in their home and keep it repaired and safe.
It's awful outside, isn't it? It's cold and it's rainy, and there are people who are living outside. So we are here today to have a community conversation, to think of ways that we can come together and come up with unique solutions, to talk about ways that we can end homelessness, because I believe that we are a city that can end chronic homelessness. So I am really anxious to have this community conversation and to hear about ideas that you have about how we can move forward as a community.
The most basic things in your life are happening when you're experiencing homelessness. They're happening in the public, right? The most private parts of your life, the things that are the most like personal and painful and whatever else that is, has to happen in public for everybody in the world to see and have to come to the table and literally beg for help, beg for services, beg for programs.
People don't respect a homeless person. That they do not. So we get vandalized a lot.
You know, you're spending a lot of money staying homeless, going from spot to spot, hotel to hotel, paying people to stay with them who are charging you enormously, not helping you, just trying to help themselves.
There is one solution to ending homelessness. Can somebody tell me what that solution is? It's housing, right? It's not and this or that or whatever. So we can all, tonight go home and say we have figured it out, that the solution to homelessness is housing. The sooner that we as a community start to address substandard housing and slum housing in our community and start to work towards affordable housing options that allow for everyone to have the basic human right of shelter, the better off we'll be. But that is ultimately the answer to ending homelessness.